but wanted to spend a little time with the showdown slate as well, because I am going to be doing the showdown slate, and I need to figure out whether I want to play relievers, and if so, which relievers to play. Whether to just basically trust SaberSim and the projections to figure out what relievers to play. See what the money left on the table thing will impact relievers to play, and then we'll try out the contest sims thing also. See if maybe we can get some guidance as far as that goes. The other thing that we're doing is I'm going to be back.
True DFS MLB projections have been updated. They should be available on SaberSim in a few minutes.
We're going to be
also DFS MLB projections have been updated. They should be available on SaberSim in a few minutes.
That's nice that the MLB projections have been updated, which I just did, by the way. Also, at about 7:15, we're going to be doing the NFL Showdown slate preview. Aaron Jones is likely out, which obviously makes A.J. Dillon a pretty hefty piece of chalk that which we're going to have to address. But I have some ideas. I had an amazing idea, which is now just a good idea. And I hate to be like this, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it a little later. I just want to see a little bit more projections. I want to see a couple of things, and I just don't want to get into it right now. But we will do a full lineup build thing. I actually did do a pretty in-depth lineup build video, which is, I don't know if it was more confusing than helpful, but whatever it is, it was what I was doing at the time, so I figured you might want to see it. NFL yesterday went very well for me. If anybody gives a crap, I got like fifth or sixth in the FanDuel FanDuel million. It was pretty funny. I was just having dinner. And I didn't even look at FanDuel yet. I looked at FanDuel, and with like 1 quarter to go, I was in first place, cashing for $300,000. Like, what? And then I looked. Usually then I check to see what that really meant, like how many people were going to just swarm me, and actually it was hung on pretty nicely for sixth. Anyway, so that was a pretty good result. I did okay in the other sites also. So anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna win the million later in the NFL. So I'm not too worried about how I do in the baseball slate. Actually, I can't win a million because again something happened where it screwed it up. If I win, it's not gonna be a million, but it'll be maybe a couple 100,000. But that's good enough. Nonetheless, let's first focus on baseball. Feel free to pop whatever questions you have in here. I'm going to share my my screen, which is going to have the SaberSim build. Actually, it's not the build. That was earlier. I'm going to upload the new projections into here, and then we're just going to get right after it. First, with respect to what's going to look good, I mean, it's kind of stupid to say because it's such a short slate, like what looks good on the projections. So much has been about how you build this stuff. But as you can see, Max Fried looks like the best pitcher, and he's going to be 75% owned. That's not really helpful. And then the other 3 pitchers are all going to be pretty close between Bobby Miller, Zach Wheeler, and Zach Allen. They're going to be owned probably pretty efficiently. So it's not that it's not that big of a deal what the projections are. You just got to figure out where to get different. Like you're looking at Christian Pache, he's like the only guy that's listed under 10%, and Alec Thomas only got listed under 10% ownership. And on a 2-game baseball slate, that's pretty much what you're looking for. Nonetheless, let's just build some stuff and see what we get. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is I want to upload the new projections into here. And this is my process literally every day. Do this, save this. We'll double check to make sure that I have everybody that's in. Oh, so I still have the Sean Murphy for some reason as playing. I don't know why that is. So we'll actually I have him at a 0 projection, but I still have his in ownership for some weird reason. So we'll make that 0, and now we could actually do something. You did, JJ? Good. So we'll share it together at 7:15. So let's build. We're going to build. We don't need to build 50 lineups. I'm only going to play 30 in this 2-gamer. Let's build just 30 lineups, and we'll build 5,000 just to show you how fast we can do it. Yeah, I don't know if I could win 1 million today. I was going to be able to win it earlier, but now it's just going to have to be, because I'm sure other people are going to do what I want to do. And and now I'm not so. I don't care too much about giving it all to you guys because I wouldn't be able to win it on my own. So we can all split a couple 100,000. That seems to be fine. It was such a great idea too. Now it's just not. I mean, it's still good, but it's not amazing. Yeah. But here we're going to do this again. We're going to do this 2-game slate. Then we're going to do the showdown slate. We're not going to do the. Actually, we'll do the later one, but that lineup isn't even out yet. And I might fire the NBA. There's a 3-game NBA slate, pregame slate tonight. The only reason I might fire is because I'm pretty sure that all the Celtics are going to sit. And so all the guys off the bench, or you normally off the bench, will get all the run. Now, I'm sure everybody's going to know that, so they'll be high owned. But we're gonna take a look at it. That starts at 7:30, and I keep forgetting NBA. You don't even look at the projections or anything until like 7:10 because everything doesn't update till then. So I don't know how many even sources of projections I'll be able to look at to even tweak my own, but I'm gonna take a look at it. Okay. All right, so again, there's 2 ways to look at this. First is just kind of, pure, the way it looks right now. So without doing any contest sims or anything, it looks as though I would be getting, first of all, some pure 5 3s, 4 4s, 5 2s, but pretty much 100% Philly and 100% Arizona, okay? Which is pretty interesting, right? The 2 lowest team totals, we'd be getting the most exposure of those. I think that's pretty cool, actually. And 0 Atlanta. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do a contest sim though, and we'll tweak around a little bit. First thing we do is we go min uniques 2 instead of 1. And then we already put the contest sim settings in. We could do it this way. We did the relay throw, and just to show everybody, it raised to have 7,843 people in it. We're going to compare it to the flagship MLB, and this perfect game has 170 people in it. We're going to compare it to high stakes MME, and we're just going to fly. We're going to run the contest sims. Should take about 30 seconds or so. When we did this, and I did this earlier, I put a video up of it. I was actually getting pretty even ownership of all the stacks, as opposed to when I didn't make that tweak, and I was getting all the Philly and the Arizona. But we're going to see what we come up with here. Okay, so so in the relay throw now, when we rate it by risk-adjusted ROI, yeah, it's a little more spread out. Still getting about 75% Arizona and 50% Philly, but I think this is fine. What's interesting to me when I look through, and there's really aren't that many lineups I'm getting that have hitters against pitchers. These are very pure lineups, which is this one. Finally get one. This one you get Gallen against one Dodger, but it's just like the weakest Dodger. But overall, you can get what you want with a great amount of purity, which is what I like, actually. So I'm just going to go ahead and fire these. I'm going to put these in, and I would recommend that this is what you do. You play like some Arizona and Philly. They are the 2 lowest team totals. They technically have the worst matchups, but it's 2-game MLB. And Arizona's they've been free swinging. They sent Kershaw into retirement basically after a third of an inning. And you got this Bobby Miller guy. He's coming in. This is his first run, and these Arizona guys are rough. And I don't know. And Atlanta, Philly, yeah, Atlanta Freed is tough. But it's baseball. It's the best I can say. So just to show you guys how to do this, we will save these into the relay throw here. Boom. You saw the little jiggler, which means a change. Then we're going to do the perfect game, which is the like the 333. And we only need to play one lineup there. So let's see what my best lineup would be. That would be Wheeler and Fried with Dodgers. With actually, so this one's actually I like because I like to have whatchamacallit, more action in the late game. This way I could mess around if I need to. If I need to get a little more juice, I can make that happen. So I'm now on the other screen going to upload my new 2-game slates. And feel free, to ask questions in here. I'm honestly, whatever. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. Most things I don't know the answer. I'm just trying to learn, just like everybody else, honestly. Okay. Now we're gonna have I guess a little bit of fun. Oh no, shoot, we have to do FanDuel first. Sorry. So let's do FanDuel, and then we'll do the showdown. So let's pull this up, FanDuel, and I've been getting pretty good at using this contest sim. Even like as recently as a week ago, I really didn't know my way around, and just from doing it, I've become pretty adept at it, and I've learned how to tweak a little bit. So okay, so FanDuel, let's upload the projections first. Again, I save these as my own file, but they're all on TrueDFS. I have to make sure that there's no like Murphy situation here again. I guess I'll look at it after I do it. So let's launch these. We'll just again we'll build just 30. That's all we need is to build 30. We'll rebuild the lineups and we'll see what we come up with on FanDuel, see if it's any different. That's the thing. One of the things that's actually very interesting to me is to compare what the lineup builds look like before you tweak with contest sim analyses and things like that. So again, for those of you that are here for the first time, watching this, what I mean when I'm running the contest sims, what this does is it really tries to tailor a lineup for an exact type of contest. When you put in the exact number of entries that you're up against, and the exact payout structure, and if you believe it, I mean, what the algorithm does is figures out based on the ownerships that you put in and the projections and the sims and stuff. Not just what your best lineups are, but what your best lineups are in the actual contests that you have a choice to play. So I have no idea how they do it, honestly, but it's interesting to see. Again, visually the differences between those types of lineups. Okay, so FanDuel, for those of you who play here, if you're going to look normally, without doing any adjustments, you're going to see, first of all, team stacks, base, again, almost 100% Philly, and then kind of spread out. And then with pitchers on FanDuel, we'd be getting mostly Wheeler. Actually, pretty close between Wheeler and Bobby Miller. So let's again, we already put in the contest sim settings as you see here. So let's rebuild them. No, actually, we already did this. We're gonna do this button does the contest sims. So we'll wait for this, and again, see kind of the difference. Now again, this is a little bit more spread out than the example on DraftKings. Okay, so it's already done. And now we'll look at the squeeze, which is the lottery over there. And now when things change, let's see, now we'd be getting, once again, now like almost all the Arizona and the Dodgers. I really like that. Very little Philly over here. Okay. So I'm down. I'm down with this whole idea. So what we're going to do is we are going to, again, just put these in. Boom. Whoops. Okay. Put these in the squeeze. And the best I can tell you with getting good at this is just doing it. Even for tiny stakes, just getting used to this. Because when I'm telling you, when the NBA comes, everything moves really, really fast. Okay. And this is the Monster. And this looks, chalky enough, but good enough for me. Freed with a couple of Braves, mostly Arizona, and 1 off for the Dodgers, which is fine. And again, we don't really know what the lineup is yet, so it's possible that, well, it's almost probable that we get something different. And then we will download these here. I'll upload these on the other page. And then we're going to look at the showdown. Try to figure out how to play that. One second. CSV, upload, FanDuel. And boom. Okay. Went back. Any questions? Yep. Hey, what's going on, E? What's going on, Eric? Really stacking the old man. Love to see it. Oh, dude, Eric, you are. Those of you who don't know Eric Froelich, aka Fro, he is. I know him, so long that it will actually indicate how old Eric is. Like for me, I can joke about how old I am, but like Eric, man, like that's like legit. That's like legitimately awful how old you are. I mean, because when I first met you, you were very young, and I know how long ago that was. But yeah, Eric, aka Efro, is one of the. Okay, so here are funny Efro stories. Just a couple Efro stories. So Efro, when he played for us, so this is like we actually did this pre-cell phones, and people would ask how we would get results or how we would get updates, because when you play online, you could just kind of look at what people's stats are. But when you have people playing live in the World Series, we needed to get updates. And again, you have to figure. But people would ask, how often would you get updates? Remember, Cliff and I, we came from the stock market. So when you come from the stock market, you get like updates like real time, like all day long, like literally every 16th. Okay. And then there are other people that like don't, give updates in their lives for like once a year, right? So somewhere between getting an update every hand and getting an update at the end of the tournament had to be kind of like the accepted compromise. So we said like at every break we would ask for an update, and only in the last several years did we actually have people who were able to text us. We had like an 800 number. We had like a hotline that people would call and leave like their chip counts on the hotline number. And we had a passcode. We would call in, and depending on who it was, like we had one guy, Kevin, below above Saul. He would basically waste the entire time. He would spend like 10 minutes of the break like whining about his hands throughout like all the hotline. And at the very, very end, we're sitting there like, can you give us the goddamn freaking chip count, you idiot? You know what I mean? I don't care about your freaking bad beats. All the way at the very end, he made it, but he knew he made us earn it. Like, had to sit through the whole freaking story before he got the chip counts. But Efro was really funny. Like, he would get on here, and let's say the starting stack was 20,000. He would get on. He was like 75 bad beats. This freaking moron called me with 6.5. It's freaking ridiculous. 92,000. And I hang up. It was so funny. You just had no idea. It would just like be complain, and then 143,000 or something like that. So he was pretty funny. His whole crew that we got to know was really funny too. And not to mention that he was one of the most honest people on the face of the earth. So you combine a really good poker player with impeccable reputation and a really, really good sense of humor. And Efro is definitely one of the good guys. All right, so and I don't care what anybody says. If anybody comes on the poker thing, I will derail and talk about this all day long. I don't know, Efro, if you saw this, but I did like a 2-hour freaking thing with Berkey a couple of months ago on some of the stuff. And I don't talk about the poker stuff too often. When I do, I get really into it. Anyway, let's see if we can build some. Oh yeah, what do I don't remember? Dude, you know what else I have in my I gotta find this. I'm gonna find it just so that I can show you this, just to prove I have this. Okay, so this is like pretty brutal, and only Efro, well, several people. So back when we played poker, like things weren't as politically correct as they were back now. Like people would say stuff in like the chats that in the poker chats that would get you completely canceled nowadays. And forget about all the stuff that we said. Like we would say, "Hope you die," "Hope you get cancer," hope, I mean, whatever it was that we were tilted. So this is actually pretty bad, but I have this. So I'm gonna give you a. So this is like really awful. This is really awful. So what this is, this is like so brutal. I'm showing this, but I don't care. So this is the title of this file is actually cancer.jpg. So what this is actually cancer. This is actually someone who actually got cancer and actually died of cancer while in makeup. So I mean, those are two things you really can't do. You know, you can't die in makeup, and you can't die of cancer when in makeup. And this was actually one of this was the arm of Efro's one of Efro's contemporaries. May he rest in peace. I'm not gonna say who it is, but you know who it is. Another another guy from his generation. Anyway, that's a pretty gross segue, but nonetheless, let's. He sent it to me, by the way, back when he had it, so I could show it to my brother-in-law, who's a radiologist or whatever. But did not work out for him. Anyway, so what do we do about showdown slates, which I never play? Again, I am the first one to admit that I am just, you know, sometimes I rely on my technology and not my takes. And when it comes to showdown slates, it's no better example of it. So I mean, I don't really know what the relievers are going to be, so I sometimes rely on Saberson to do that. But let's upload the new projections here. And again, I'm kind of cheating because I'm uploading the full projections from both games, even though it's only the Philly game. So you'll see we couldn't match these 20 players because these are the guys from the Philly game, from the Dodger game. So obviously we don't need them in the Philly showdown slate. So one thing we're not doing is excluded unlisted players, because what we have to be able to do is allow the relievers. So, for example, let's build these lineups and see how many relief pitchers we get in here. Dude, Eric, you know the first guy who actually he pitched me the idea of playing daily fantasy sports for like years before I ever played. I didn't really start playing until recently. But another guy you might know, we used to play for this guy, Jamie Robbins. He played as the new. He got into daily fantasy sports like pretty early. I don't know if he still plays or whatever. Meanwhile, I'm coming out of retirement. I played very little. I played a charity tournament, which I won back in April, but I'm going to be playing 2 like circuit events online from New Jersey. I've been threatening to visit my friend who says he lives in New Jersey. He's like, dude, I'm playing. Next time you come, we're going to play. I was going to come last week, but his whole family got COVID, so I had to cancel it. But I opened up an account, and I'm going to be playing. There's just literally no way I'm anything but just like hopelessly terrible EV. You can tell me, Eric, I mean, like, is it possible to win anymore? Like with these people in their, especially online, with these people in the solvers and the RTA and the bots. And I just feel as though I'm just completely, I mean, listen, as much as when I was, listen, towards the, let's call it what it is. Towards the end of our run, I probably was I was probably a break-even player kind of at the end. Because everybody was already getting really good, whatever. So it's probably a break-even player maybe near the end. I was still really good at 20 big blinds and below, but I was not, I wasn't that great anymore with anything deep. Like now, I can't even imagine like competing with all these whatever, you know. Oh, it's so. I thought you were trolling at first when you went to said you went to Berkey's thing. You actually went. That's pretty cool. That's what I was wanting. See, that's the thing. Every once in a while, I threaten to learn like all the new stuff, you know. And okay, so this is what I'm looking at, and this is all I do when I figure out these showdown slates is see how many relievers I'm getting. Okay, so first of all, I'm not playing a reliever and a captain. So it's got Jose Alvarado and a captain, so he just gets X'd. This is like heavy duty, you know, analysis here. So we're not getting any relievers in the captain. And then, yeah, I'm really not getting any relievers in these. So, okay, maybe some. Like I got a little bit of Jimenez, a little bit of this guy I've never heard of. I'm just going to kind of trust that. I'm going to kind of trust the process with these and give myself a lineup or two with these in there. Okay. Let's see. So we're just going to save these. Again, this is not. Oh wait, we have to. Hold on. Let's do a contest. Playing 1-2 spots in a way that's 5-10%. Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm pretty good at variance. I mean, that's like my favorite. That's my, you know, I'm expert at running good. I'm really, really good at that. Like Eric was really bad at running good. And he actually had to like outplay people and like be really good at poker. I was like really, I mean, I was really good at running good. I mean, to wit, who else? Who else gets? Who else not only backs two people to make the final table of the World Series in back-to-back years, and who else not only has the winner of the main event, who overcame all the 80-20s, but one thing that people don't know about that main event is that, is that not only, this one, we'll do this one. You know, well, we'll just leave it like that. Not only did Kata win the main event, but we had 3 guys, not kidding, 3 guys at the final 2 tables. I don't know if you knew that, Eric. We had 3 guys when Kata won. We had 3 guys at the final 2 tables of the freaking main event with like 400 million people in it. One of them was the aforementioned The New, and the other one was world legends, Nick FU15 Maimoni. Dude, Brandon, you know, go look up Solve for Why. That's Berkey's like podcast, and look for like sheets or whatever. I was down there for like 2 freaking hours, and I could have gone for hundreds of hours. Well, I by the way, I'll tell you this, Eric. I mean, DFS is really, really hard. Okay, so DFS is hard because, I mean, the people that you're competing against, I mean, they are super, super sharp. Okay, I mean, like they got people that are running sims and running technology and stuff like that, and there's cheating, but it's not as much as it could be. Like when I first got into DFS, like one of the things is that, you know, you're allowed to enter 150 lineups in something, and really it's one of those things where the more lineups you can enter, the better. It's kind of like poker. And there was like a scandal where these 2 guys would share accounts, and they would make sure to put 150 of, you know, unique lineups in together. But there's not as many people that do that as there could be, you know. So there's really not a lot of cheating in it. It's a fair game. It's just hard. I mean, because the rake is hard and variance hard. It's a tough game, but that's one of the reasons I like playing it. You know, it's one of the reasons I just like playing. You know who does really well in DF? I don't know if he does really well, but every once in a while he cashes really big. Is Devo. Devo's at the top of. He wins some stuff from time to time. Uh, in uh, in uh, in DFS. But you want to know what I'm still struggle with, and one of the reasons I got into this, Eric, is I love the teaching, and I love like helping people and learning as I help people and learning how to teach better and all that stuff. Because I honestly I don't make any money doing this. The content stuff, like Bobby and I really don't make any money off the site yet. We just don't have that many people. But I still really love doing it. But the thing that I miss, and I still can't quite get this right, all right, is the thing I like the most about when I did the poker stuff was when I did the live chat for Poker X Factor. Okay, where this is like, dude, I did this before Twitch even existed. Okay, I'd fire up these live streams where I would play poker and just share my screen, share my cards, no delay. You know, who thinks of it? There's no delay. I didn't care if people were watching. I think people were trying to troll me during the whatever, and just talk through my stuff. And they would watch me play, and I would talk through my stuff, and it would be like a live sweat every freaking Tuesday or Wednesday from like 11 p.m. to like 2 in the morning. It was literally my favorite thing in the world to do. And I still try to figure out the best way to translate that into DFS. So like the problem is this. So I put my lineups in, whatever it is. And then like towards the end of the night, that's when all kind of like the determination of how much money you win, you know, because people are playing and, you know, and towards like the last hour, hour and a half. And I try this. I do a live sweat where I put the lineups up there and I see how we're doing or whatever. But it's just not the same because the actual like learning like how you play, like you're done playing DFS. Think about this. Really before the first game starts. You know what I mean? Like once the games really start, with the exception of late swap, whatever, then the sweat has nothing to do with what you do anymore. You know what I mean? Like you like set everything up and then you just sit there and just watch the other guys, the players, kind of generate the results, which translate to the screen. You know, so it's not really exactly the same thing. I'm trying to make some peace with that. I'm trying to figure out the best way to make this as fun for everybody while continuing to learn along the way. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Okay, so again, baseball showdown. I am sprinkling in some of these relievers. And one of the things that's kind of cool about when you play relievers in showdown is this. Let me find some lineups. I'll give you an example of it. Right, yeah, 100%. That's exactly right. It's exactly right, Eric. So you take one like this, right? So this is a lineup that happens to have a reliever in it. Okay. So what's cool about this is that there's only so you take this lineup as is. There's only one other guy that you could put in here instead of dropping down to the 4K relievers, right? So the thing is that like if all of these guys, right? If all of these guys smash, okay? The only way you could get you could have this lineup of these five exactly is to have like a 4K guy, you know, or Rojas, for example. So in a weird way, like these can be zeros. And just because they save the money to get up to these other lineups makes them somewhat viable. So that's what's kind of cool about the relievers is sometimes in baseball showdown, because so many people end up with zeros anyway, that you can sacrifice a spot in showdown. And if you get any upside out of it, that's great. But at the worst, you get like kind of a zero. Okay, JJ, you said you may have beaten him at a PT first. Yeah, I don't know what PT is. Is that a final table with PH maybe? Or is that a DFS thing? I don't know. Yeah. So that's pretty much, I guess, all I've got. Wait, Eric, is it true that you say Magic did I hate to say this without and it not be true. Who Huey didn't die, right? I get confused with which of the he's still is Huey still around? Or did he pass away? I don't want to Google it or anything, but I thought he was still around. There was somebody that died that I was very shocked at, but it wasn't him, I guess. I don't know. But all those Magic guys were he does work for Magic. Okay, good. Dude, you know, there's a guy, okay, here's a name. That's boy, I gotta come up with the guy's name. All right, so here's one funny story. A guy pitched me an idea. Who the hell was it now? It's a guy you know. Some Chinese poker. Okay, so someone pitched me an idea of staking him. I can't tell you the guy's name, but staking him in like nosebleed Chinese poker online. Okay, like nosebleed Chinese, and I mean nosebleed. Like what he did, he had a private site where, you know, one of those whatever sites where he and the opponent would agree to play online, and they would find these whales from China or Japan or whatever, and they would play for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he pitched me the idea that he developed a bot, like a RTA bot, that figured everything out, and that he could beat these people for like millions and millions of dollars. Now, the guy who was doing the playing is a guy who you know from poker. Now I forget his name too, but his backer was apparently a guy that either invented Magic or he was a real big deal in the development of software for Magic. He had a lot of money, and I don't remember his name now, but I'd have to figure it out. And they gave me a whole presentation about how it works and the whole thing and how, you know, and I'm like, well, if you're running this program, why isn't everybody else doing it? And that's, you know, whatever. And second of all, like, why do you need me? Like, why aren't you just like taking these people's money on your own? And they're like, well, we're on a big downswing. And I'm like, well, why you want a downswing if you have the software that makes it impossible to lose? And I was waiting for him to say the right things. Well, it's variance, and here's why it's variance. But I just didn't like what the guy had to say. But the demonstration was interesting. But the name of the person now escapes me. When I come up with it, I'll DM you. But it's definitely like a guy that I guess if you're in Magic, you're supposed to know who he is. But damn, now I forget what it was. Anyway, that is one sport which I've never played. The Magic. I just kind of, you know, missed that. But I guess that's pretty much all I have. I'm gonna head back home. Gonna get some dinner. That's her on the phone right now. Hold on a second. Hello. Hey, good. I'm just finishing something up, and I'll be home at about 6 o'clock or so. And I'll see you then. Okay, love you. Bye. And there you have it. All right. So good luck, everybody, in the baseball. I'll be back at 7:15 to talk about the football. As always, great to hang out, Eric, and dude, JJ. Let me tell you something. Us nerds, you're talking to the king. Believe me. I just didn't play Magic. When everybody else was, when everybody else was getting laid in high school, I was doing contests with my friend trying to figure out who could recite them world capitals in the fastest amount of time. So there you go. Okay, that'll do it. I will